All right, what's going on? Kevin Holt here with BallHer Hoops. Back at you again with another podcast. This time we're talking about the PD scrimmages, and then also we're going to kind of preview the week to come. Big week of basketball. Private schools getting started. Then you have the Super Scrimmages up in Winston-Salem and High Point, and then of course the Mallet Creek scrimmages here in Charlotte. So we're going to start with the Providence Day Super Scrimmages. A lot of big games, a lot of big talent in the building. Thank you, Josh, for having myself, my family, and then our coaches that are involved with BallHer Hoops. It was a great time, great atmosphere, great experience. I don't know many events that can have 3 courts like that and bring that many teams in that are really high level talented. So I'm going to start with my top teams that I saw. I only picked 4. Lake Norman. Lake Norman was dominant for sure. 3 wins, beat a good Providence Day team, even though they were missing Chandler. I think they still show that they are one of the top 40 teams in the state, not just our area, but the state as well. Kirsten Lewis really proved that she belongs. I think a lot of us know it, but some of the other people will start to see it now. Hopefully her recruiting continues to push forward. I think Kelsey Ryan, especially versus Legacy, was lights out. She was a difference maker. I mean, I'm talking about on both ends of the floor. A lot of people talk about her shooting, but her defense has improved so much. So I want to commend her on that, and I commend Coach for pushing her to get to that point. I think she's going to be a really good player. Addie Sirianni was really good. The Sheehan twins both dominated the boards. I think one thing you have to worry about with Lake Norman is that they are a really good offensive rebounding team. Even if you're bigger than them, because they're so quick to the ball, they're really good. My second team was one prep. I think both teams were playing together. You were missing the Hobbs sister, and they still were undefeated. I don't know if many people realize that. Like they had 2 of their better players were not there, and they still were undefeated. I think they beat Panther Creek. Trying to think of who else they played against. I know they played some other good teams, but that was the big win. Panther Creek's one of the favorites for the East, and they gave them a good game, but one-on-one prep just ran 2 lineups, and it worked for them. Delaney Hill was really good, but the biggest, I think the biggest name from this weekend that really a lot of people may not have known was JL Poole. JL was like a superstar. She played some really good minutes, good defense, really good on ball. She handled the ball well, and she drove to the basket well. I think that's going to improve her stock as well. I know some college coaches will probably be knocking on the door, ringing that phone, because she had a really good day, and I'm sure she's going to continue that this week. My next team was Charlotte Catholic. I think the big thing everyone knows is that they're the best, like they have the best duo of the front court. Blanca and Grayson kept with that notion because they were really good. They have a big advantage because when you got Blanca who can step out and make good passes on the inside, and she steps out of guards very well. I think that's one of the most impressive things about Blanca. We know that she can protect the paint, but she can step out and guard as well. Grayson did really good. She's a dog. You know, she has that dog mentality. She hustles all over the floor. She's not afraid to get dirty. And then Anaya Scales came in and added a really good guard presence. I think they still need those other role players to continue to get better throughout the year for them to contend for a state championship. But they're right there. I mean, of course, if you got a good front court and then an experienced guard like Anaya, I think that's going to only make them a better team. I'm definitely ready to see the matchup on the 26th with them in the one-on-one prep, Blanca against Ella. But I think more so the matchups within the matchups, the guards and the role players is going to be what really matters at the end. My fourth team, I had Cannon School. Cannon School really got a bad schedule, and I hate for the teams that they played. And there's no knock against the teams that they played, but Cannon was by far better. I mean, you're averaging 25-point wins without what's considered their best player. Somebody suffering didn't even play, but she was on the bench cheering. But you look at what they did defensively. Lily Booker really got the team going. Ashley Fowler shot lights out, especially in the first 2 games. The big addition of Kiara Morrow was a major for them. I think Jamira Cherry had a really good week, and so did Chloe Thompson. This Canada team is really good. I think they have a big week coming up. We'll get to that later when I get to the rest of the games. But overall, the experience of the PD scrimmages was really good. I think Providence Day is going to be really good. They had some missing pieces. I love Panther Creek. I like their length and their athleticism. They're going to be another really good team. Concord Academy record may not have shown it, but they are a good team. I mean, you look at the 2A level, they're going to be right there at the end because, I mean, not 2A, 3A, my bad. They're a 3A team, so I think they'll be right there at the end. Who else? I think Northside Christian played really good. I think they got 2 good wins. They beat North Raleigh Christian, which is a 4A team that is pretty good. They're missing a couple pieces that I know of, but they're still a good team. Trying to think, South Meck, big win versus Independence. They should have honestly went 3-0 if I'm not mistaken. They also won where they were up by like 8 or 10 points against Wesleyan Christian. Wesleyan Christian looked good as well. The North Carolina Good, Better, Best team, I think they were really good. They played against the Bishop McGuinness team and beat them. Bishop McGuinness, I love their star, Adeline. I don't want to say her name wrong. If I said it wrong, my apologies. But she looked good as well. You're talking about some really good talent in the building. Legacy looked good. Their only loss, I think, came to Lake Norman, which was in a good game. They're going to be a really talented team that's going to be in the right spot at the right time. But thank you, Josh, for having that event. Like I've told people, I think you'll at least get 3 state champions out of that event alone. So just you can't quote me on that. I think 3 state champions come out of there, whether it's public school or private school. So now we're getting to our matchups of the week. So what we'll do every week, try to get matchups out there that are interesting or that will be some really good games or some really good players on those teams that you may want to go get to watch. First, I would say Cannon has 2 big games. They're the number 4 team in our Fire Fit team. They play against Legacy. We saw Legacy play against Lake Norman. They play Legacy on Friday. Then they turn around and play Winston-Salem Christian National on Saturday. Saturday is a big day for basketball. I'm going to get to that a little more. But I think Cannon, Samaya should be back. They will have a tough 2. That's a tough 2 matchups to start the season. And I love what Coach Drakeford does with getting his team ready early to play some of these talented teams. Concord Academy versus Lincoln Charter. Concord Academy is our number 12 team in our Fire Fit team. I think they'll have a really good game against Lincoln Charter. Lincoln Charter is one of those honorable mention teams. I think they have a good length and size that they'll be able to kind of contend with Concord Academy, but I think Concord Academy has the stars with Zoe Ward, Justice Alexander, and then Mackenzie Taylor is really a true point guard that really gets our team going. I think with those 3, I think they should come out with that win in that game versus Lincoln Charter. Legion Collegiate Academy versus Covenant Day. I really don't. Legion Collegiate is not in our coverage area, but we still are close enough to watch them. They have a really dynamic team. Covenant Day has Alexis Haley back. I think Taylor Houston is still there. So that'll be a really good first game for them. They play tonight. That game will be at Covenant Day. And Concord Academy, I think that game is at, I don't want to say it wrong, so I'm not going to say where it's at. But, Max Preps is your best friend. Then we have Saturday, Mallet Creek Scrimmages. Some good teams. I don't want to leak out the team names and things like that. But some good teams in that battle. I really want to see how Mallet Creek does, the young team. They have some veterans as well, but most of their team is young. So I want to see how they really are coming out this year. I know that Coach has a chip on her shoulder, and she's ready to show that her team is not just an afterthought. I think they're a really good team. and they'll be there contending for that conference championship, and they want to prove that they not only can be conference champions but state champions. So it starts with practices and scrimmages, and they'll be a good team. But then you have the Wesleyan scrimmages up in High Point. Teams include 1-1 Black, Grace Christian Academy with Sarah Strong, Lake Norman's in it, Northside Christian, and a lot of other teams. Very first game of the day is Lake Norman and Grace Christian. Big game, definitely going to be there for that one. I think Grace Christian also plays 1-on-1. So it'll be a lot of good games in that event. Then you have Millbrook and some other Eastern teams in it, which will make for a really good event overall. And then on the Mount Tabor side, there's still some good teams. You got North Meg, you got Coxmill, Chambers, and some other good teams that are in that event. I'm really interested in seeing Wesleyan scrimmages, though. I think I'll be there for a good amount of time just to watch some of the good basketball we have in this North Carolina area, and some of the teams I probably wouldn't get to see any other time. So with that said, please subscribe to the channel, like, comment. Make sure that you're listening. I think we're giving out good information, good vibes. I'm ready for this girls' basketball season. It's been a blessing to be a part of it so far. And, of course, if you see me in the gym, don't be afraid to speak. Shout out to everyone that has spoken and that really just like talking basketball, because that's what I love to do. I love to talk basketball, especially girls basketball. So with that said, BallHer Hoops, we out.